All right, welcome to a Tuesday edition of the program. Jeff DeForest. We got Mike Lubitz, young Luca Lubitz in the background there, and he's been kind of guiding the pace of the show of late. We might need to put a new theme song in there for the simple reason where we love to customize music that was made for us in studio and some freebie studio time by the great Albert Castiglia, who, by the way, I believe will be on stage for this Nashville thing that's coming up, this big Nashville special. Not exactly
Nice.
sure because they're probably about 20 different country music award shows.
Yeah.
Seems like every week, here it is, man. This is the big one. Dolly Parton going to be hosting. But they have some kind of Christmas special coming from Nashville, headlined by one of the big country stars, I think one of the female country stars. And featured on the bill will be Bill Murray, the comedian Bill Murray, believe it or not, and his Blood Brothers, which essentially is the Blood Brothers, consisting of, and they're going to be playing, I believe, this Sunday in the afternoon at the Funky Biscuit, the actual Blood Brothers band. That would be a combination of Albert Castiglia, our good friend who customizes music for us, and Mike Zito, who's a tremendous individual performer and artist, and always very enjoyable. Those two guys joined forces a while back to form another collaboration, the Blood Brothers. They had a lot of success. They have a couple of albums out already, or CDs, or whatever it is that people listen to music on today. And then all of a sudden, Bill Murray says, I love these guys. I want to front for them. And guess what? I don't think Bill Murray has a lot of musical talent. It's not like, the Blues Brothers were somewhat legit. Aykroyd and Belushi, you could listen to their music and not know that they were comedians. And there have been others that have had crossover careers. We've had sports stars that were good musicians. We've had actors that could actually play some music. All kinds of mixed bags of talent that we've seen that is at the top levels. Bernie Williams is well respected as a jazz guitar player, although I don't recall being overwhelmed by Bernie Williams when I saw him at a show one time. In fact, he was on that show where Christian McBride was headlining a show in Newark, New Jersey. And I had the privilege of being flown up there, private jet, by the Duke, of course, the late Bob Knuth, and the lovely and talented Leslie Visser, to see Christian play. And on sort of the undercard there, what was Bernie Williams playing, and then the oddest of all things that I've ever seen in terms of performing, a very reclusive Kareem Abdul-Jabbar reading poetry. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Oh, the poetry. That's a because I thought he did do some musical things, but poetry, that's okay.
To be honest with you, I love the sky hook. I probably could have lived without the poetry. What was weird was meeting Kareem. And now Leslie Visser, you know that she's as effervescent as it comes, as outgoing. There's almost nobody. Andy says Wayman Tisdale. Yeah, he was an excellent musician also. No doubt about it. There have been many athletes that could play music. John McEnroe will sit in with bands. I don't know that he's a great guitar player, but he'll sit in with bands. Bill Murray, I don't think generates a whole lot of musical talent. Maybe I'm wrong about this, Libby. But when he's headlining this band, they go from maybe playing a show like at the Funky Biscuit for a few hundred people to playing and selling out arenas. And now they're going to be on NBC. So we're very happy about that. Always nice to see one of the people that you've seen come up through the ranks. I mean, this guy's playing in front of 8 people at Fishtails 12 years ago, and now going to be on NBC TV. Our other friend, I remember we had a guy named Josh Smith come into the studio. I think he came in with Albert, guitar player. And he is now the rhythm guitar player for Joe Bonamassa, and will be in town Saturday at the Hard Rock where Bonamassa is playing. He seems to do like an annual trek down here, and there's Josh just playing away in the background. Nobody would know. I don't even know that they introduce a band that size individually, and man, just absolutely tremendous. So applaud all these people that stuck to it and made it, and now we're reaping some of the benefits anyway, the rewards of going out there and being on the road and working real hard. All right, we should though change the theme music, Lubie, to "What Kind of Fool Am I?" Now, there's no accountability anymore in the world, would you say? Then that begins with the Trump administration. No accountability.
Pretty much.
We blew up a couple of people. I didn't really know about that. Oh, that drug dealer that I just let out of jail? I had no idea who the hell he was. I think he got a raw deal from the Biden administration. That's always a good one, right? We've let out on pardons two of the most heinous drug purveyors that we've ever seen, right? One guy brought in like 400 tons of cocaine to the U.S., And the other guy was this online guy, remember? And he was getting people killed with fentanyl and all kinds of crazy stuff. Ends up getting a hideous sentence. Donnie Boy says, no, I think he was wrong. Amazing, right? While they're blowing up these poor fishermen in the Caribbean, they're just out there trying to catch a couple of snapper, bring it back home, and maybe sell two of them for a couple of bucks so they can eat. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, no accountability, and that goes throughout the entire state and genre of sportscasting. Would you say? I mean, when do you ever hear a guy get up on the air and just say, "You know what? I completely screwed up. I was dead wrong about that. We were dead wrong about Paul Maurice." And I remember, I don't know that we were disparaging about this guy, but we were talking about what kind of big deal is it really that Mike Vrabel was hired by the New England Patriots, Libby? Can you imagine? I mean, how far off were those comments? We should go back and take, well, what would it be? Accountability for saying that we didn't think that was that big of a deal. But it was. And then the professor got a little controversy working on the chat line when he suggested that Drake May wasn't all that. And I think that was wildly misinterpreted, though, Lou, because what he was saying was it's too early to anoint him among the greats of all time. And I think that's
100%.
fair, right? I mean, the guy looks great. He's having a terrific year. If you looked at Sam Darnold through the late regular season stages and into the postseason, you would have thought, wow, I mean, this guy's a great quarterback. What the hell was going on before this? But unfortunately, he reverted back to some of the ugly tendencies that he had when he was getting hammered as he was with the Jets, and then became a Larry Brown type of vagabond, traveling around to different destinations. Well, was he with the 49ers for a while? He was ended up having that big year with Minnesota, and even subsequent to that, wow, I mean, is Chris Greer advising the Minnesota Vikings on what to do? How do you bag both Daniel Jones and you see no potential in him? And he may be coming back to the pack now, too, as Indianapolis has lost two in a row, and all of a sudden they don't look like the juggernaut that they were. But New England looked every bit the part last night. They annihilate the New York Giants, who, in spite of their 2-11 record, I think my good friend Mike Jones, huge Giant fan, and has a podcast on the Giants that he does every week called the Big Gunner Podcast, totally into every piece of minutia. Do you like those kind of shows, Libby? Where I mean, if it was a Florida State show, you would enjoy that, right? Where
Yes,
they get into
I've gotten
every
into
little
some
thing.
Florida State podcasts. I can't lie, but on any other topic, no, I'm not a big get into. This is all we talk about, niche topic guy.
Okay, well, that's fair. I mean, how deep of an exploration do you need in your team? Do you need people, examining the depth on the taxi squad, or I guess it would be called the practice squad now? I like the better. Wasn't that a better term, the taxi squad? Didn't you like that better when they called the practice squad the taxi squad?
I guess it was
It
the
had some
name.
distinction to it. Hey, I'm on the taxi squad with the Jets. Guys, before you had the ability to Google any piece of information, guys would tell you, "Oh yeah, I played for the Jets. I was a taxi squad player." Oh, you were? Well, there's no list of that anywhere. So how would you ever know?
Exactly.
People who make false claims like that, I don't know. What's the point? Now it's impossible. You can't get away with it. I mean, within seconds, somebody has looked it up and gone, I don't see any mention of your name here. What is this, a Clockwork Orange? Your name's not on the list, and that's a good thing? I don't think so. But Vrabel, do we owe an apology, Libby? I mean, what is going on out there? They absolutely thoroughly annihilated the New York Giants, who weren't that bad of a team. They get Jackson Dart back. He can't do squat. He's going to get himself killed, by the way, this Jackson Dart. Oh, he is. You can't do this, Jackson. Somebody has to tell him that. Now, it was one thing with Tua where they're telling him to cool it, but Tua didn't take off and run with the same level of exuberance, purpose, and reckless abandon that we see from Jackson Dart. He's getting hit in the upper body a lot while in action, and it's not favorable. He's already had one concussion. He was examined for two or three others. This guy's head has got to be getting to the point where it's in the same condition as a grapefruit. No, he's going to be talking and looking like Jerry Quarry pretty soon if he continues to do that. But that being said, I mean, there wasn't much he could do in his ball game because wow, Giants special teams. Was there any news that the Giants fired their special teams coach? That this was an embarrassment. What happened on special teams? They give up a punt return for a touchdown. And they also, did you see what happened with their field goal kicker? It's unprecedented. Have we seen a field goal kicker ever whiff on a field goal?
Maybe. I've never really witnessed it, but I guess it
It looked
could
like
have.
you with a wedge on
I was
18 and
gonna say
12 or
that's just me
something.
playing golf.
Yeah. But you got a chunk of the ground 2 feet behind the ball, and you never actually strike the ball. That happened on a field goal try. I mean, have you ever seen that where the guy just gets his foot stuck in the ground in front of the ball
Never.
and isn't able to even follow through, and so the ball's just sitting there, and he makes no attempt. I mean, he got literally no attempt. I don't know. The play naturally broke down after that, but special teams were abysmal at best for the New York Giants yesterday. But the story is New England and Mike Vrabel, 11-2. Now the best
That's
team in the
crazy.
National Football League. The Colts were up there; they've lost 2 in a row, and Denver's 10-2. I don't know how's Denver doing it. Denver's doing it without the same type of efficiency at quarterback that you're seeing from Drake May. Drake May is really looking good. There's no doubt about it. I don't think you can question whether or not does he not look like at least a legitimate NFL quarterback at this point. Drake May.
Yes. 100%. They're winning, they're winning decisively, but it's not with smoke and mirrors. Like they're putting up points. They're putting up a lot of points. It's weird to see them go from bad to really good in one off season, but
Yes. So it is
what they've
possible.
done.
That's
I
the
mean,
step.
look, things are wrong. They're playing the garbage of the league. Like every week they play, and I get it. The Giants have been game. The Giants have pushed teams. They're still a 2-win team. Like if you look at the Patriots' schedule, it's been the muck of the muck. That is true, but they're beating the crap out of them. Like they're beating.
They beat Buffalo on the road. No, that was of
Yeah,
some
but
distinction.
yeah.
But
Look, that's the other thing too is who's good. Like in the AFC, there's the Chiefs have had their issues, the Bills have had their issues, the Ravens have had their issues. The Patriots are the one team that's good, is what it feels like. So I'm not a fan, as we know, and I will see as the season goes on. But they have to play the Ravens and the Bills coming up, and those to me are the tests that I guess sort of define the AFC.
a lot of mediocrity there, all around the league, though. I mean, if you're looking at it, you have New England 11-2, and that was after beating now 2-11 team. Denver's 10-2, and they've looked pretty good. Their defense is definitely impressive. The Chargers are 8-4. KC sitting there at 6-6, along with the Baltimore Ravens, 2 teams you figured were going to be in the mix. The Rams get that shocking loss to Carolina. Carolina now has a winning record at 7-6, but the Rams are tied with Seattle at 9-3. San Francisco has been kind of a mystery team because you don't hear a lot about them, and they traded some of their good players in the offseason, and you thought that what are they doing? Are they regrouping? Kind of maybe taking a step back to try and take a couple of steps forward. It wasn't like they were tanking, and they're sitting there at 9-4. Tampa Bay, which was all the rage of the league, but with the way Baker Mayfield was playing early in the year, now 7-5, so that's kind of modest. The Bears, a shocking 9-3. Green Bay sitting there right behind them, drafting in behind them a half game back at 8-3-1. Do you believe in Jacksonville? I mean, it's hard to embrace Jacksonville. They're sitting there with Indy now atop their division at 8-4. So pretty hard to determine. I mean, here we are, what, 12, 13 weeks into the season? Yeah, 13 weeks into the season, and we still don't know squat.
Well, look. The thing is, maybe we do know. It's just hard for us. You'll see a team come out of nowhere from one year to the next, but to see the hierarchy totally change from
Yeah.
the 3 or 4 teams we thought would be good to be questionable, and teams that we thought could be to be teams that are pushing. Like the Rams looked interesting, but I don't know. And talked about them winning Super Bowls.
Just last week, they were number 1 in power rankings.
And I know, but going into the year, like I think that's what it is. I think we have an idea who's good at this point. We just don't want to believe it. The Jags have a good record. The Colts have a good record. The Patriots have a good record. It's hard for me to fathom that, and I'm not giving them Super Bowls. But we're getting to the 3/4 point of the season. Like
We're deep into it.
and the Ravens have struggled, and the Chiefs have struggled, and Mahomes and Jackson look human, and the Bills have struggled, and Allen looks human. I don't know what this year is, but we've had it in college football, so I guess we'll have it in the NFL too. It's the Bears doing what the Bears are doing. The Lions have had their struggles. The Eagles have had their struggles. It's a very topsy-turvy year.
They're egging the household of the Eagles coaches.
Exactly.
Offensive coordinator came home. You would have thought it was Halloween in Brooklyn. Unbelievable, back in the 50s. So here's a story here for the local team, the Miami Dolphins, who have won 3 in a row, right? 3 straight. They were 2-7, now they're 5-7. Their remaining schedule, I'm going to go Segredo on this. I know Tony's going to join us tomorrow. We should get him to do it, huh? Give him
We
a heads up that
100%.
he needs to go win-loss with the remainder of the Dolphins' schedule. You can even send him the rest of the schedule.
Okay.
They're at the Jets coming up this week. At the Jets. The Jets just won a ball game, which was kind of a surprise. Jets hanging in there in spite of the fact, I mean, you talk about divisive type of turmoil. They've had just about everything that could go wrong go wrong. They've won what? Have they won 3 out of 4 now, or 3 out of 5? Because they were 0-7 at one point. So they did win this past week. I don't know how tough of an out they're going to be for the Miami Dolphins, but if you were going to go Segredo on this thing and say, okay, win loss, you'd probably say to Miami, is it safe to say that, Lubie? They're going to beat the Jets on the road this week at the Meadowlands.
I mean, the weather could be interesting, so you never know. I mean, this
No
team
guarantee, right?
with weather, I mean, the Jets have been games. I think they're getting demolished every week. I don't know. Yes, the way they're playing, they're running the ball a bit more. They're playing smarter, even though Tua is not playing great. The defense hasn't been fantastic, but it's keeping them in games. They'll probably win. I don't know. I don't know how.
So you're going to count down as a W. All right, I'm going to commit you to a W there. Pittsburgh is in severe decline. Aaron Rodgers looks like a shot fighter. So they then have the Steelers and Cincinnati following the Jets. So if they win against the Jets, they're sitting there in a position with 4 wins in a row to make it 6 in a row before they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who we don't know where the Buccaneers are going to be at because they started out like a house of fire and now they've come back to the pack. And then they finish up on the road against the New England Patriots, who may be playing for nothing in that ballgame. Is that possible, Lubie? So are we looking at any chance? What chance would you give the Miami Dolphins of winning the next 5 and going 10-7, and indeed validating the fact that most people still have them on the list, however far down the bottom they are, of teams that are in the hunt?
I mean, there's a strong possibility. Now, again, the Bengals do have his Burrow back, so they don't play Burrow for 2-3 weeks.
How many of those games did they lose of the 5? What would you say?
I can see the Bengals and the
3 and
Patriots.
2, 2 and 3.
I can see the Bengals and the Patriot game. Like the Jets games, the Steelers are falling on hard times. So I can see them winning those games.
All 3.
The Patriot game. Actually, the Patriots are up 2.5, so they'll probably have it clinched. But again, they may be fighting for the number 1 seed. And if you're this Patriot team, you definitely want home field advantage. So who knows with that game? And the Bengals, again, Burrow's already back. Within 2-3 weeks, you would think he'd be back to being himself. So that could be a tough game. I could see them going 3-2.
All right. 3-2 you have. All right. So that doesn't do them any good. They sit there at 8-9.
That's exactly what the Dolphins will be. They'll be 8-9. They'll have a 15.
And they overachieved at 8-9, according to some people.
Yeah, exactly. A 15-20 pick, but they'll keep McDaniel because look at that run they went on the second half of the year.
He hasn't lost the team completely.
And they'll be this. They'll be this again.
All right. So there's a synopsis of what we're looking at. We have no idea what we're talking about here. Miami Dolphins local team, very depressing. Analyze that. The fact that New England was able to turn it around completely. Now people were anticipating some growth there, but they weren't necessarily thinking that they were going to be the best team in the league, at least record-wise. 11-2. Mike Vrabel, we owe you an apology, Vrabel. You were much better and more effective and impactful than I could have ever imagined at the beginning of the season. We put you in the Paul Maurice category and just have to go ahead and give out a hearty chorus of "What kind of fool am I to completely misjudge the situation and then try to pass ourselves off as experts here. 50 years in the business. We have no idea what we're talking about. All right, college title games, conference title games, Louis, some good ones, right? Here's something, though, some postscript. Is it over already talking about what a rat Lane Kiffin is? Because I'm on the other side of this thing. I really am. He may well be a rat. He may be the most disloyal, dysfunctional person that we've ever seen that had the kind of talent it takes to take programs and make something out of them. Ole Miss was a perennial, also ran. I mean, they had the name, the reputation, but let's face it. Were they LSU? No. Were they Alabama? No. Were they Georgia? No. Were they even Tennessee?
No.
Probably not. All right, so when you're talking about the SEC powers, Ole Miss was not necessarily. They were also ran material, right? They're just sitting there going, "Hey, did the horse? I hope he scratched." Right? You're looking at the race results the next day, and you're hoping after a losing ticket that your horse scratched. So you look, and there you see he was an also ran, and you're thinking, "My God, I lost my money anyway." That was Ole Miss. Kiffin comes in there 6 years now. He's got him in a position you would have to think. I mean, if they get hosed because they lost their coach and don't get into the postseason, the playoff, the college football playoff, that would be not quite the travesty that the Florida State decision was. But you have to also compound it by the fact that that was a 4-team decision and this is 12. So you can't possibly and then these same administrators that come up with these decisions would say, well, it's all about the kids. How much more can you F over a bunch of kids than to deny them a chance to compete for the championship when they've met every piece of the criteria that you've laid out as being the most significant? That's bad. But for Kiffin to be getting crucified, I mean, it's a byproduct of the system. It's just like when Nick Saban was trying to deny that he was the Alabama head football coach. You don't think that contract was already signed?
For sure. Yes, yes.
When Dave Hyde was grilling him at that press conference, hey, Nick, you leaving or what? Lombardo would have put it that way. I don't know about Dave Hyde. He probably very politely danced around the question and said, is there even the slightest bit of possibility, Nick, that you would ever consider going to another place? And then Nick came out there flamboyantly denying, I mean, in the spirit of the Trump administration, denying that anything was in the works. Meanwhile, his wife's already shopping at some mall in Tuscaloosa for furniture for their new home. We know that's how it works. I mean, but what are you supposed to do? I remember Saban, and look, am I a Saban fan, Lubie? Have I had any? Our biggest jokes with most coaches are vague references to Nick. We used to do it with Charlie Partridge all the time. We might have even run that by Lane Kiffin at one point when we had him on, although he was sort of brain dead, as we mentioned the other day when we did that interview with him. How did he lose all this weight, by the way, too? That's another thing, Lubie. Lane Kiffin, didn't he weigh like 30 pounds more a few years ago? I mean, he was kind of puffy, wasn't he? You thought he was sort of a man-child?
A little. I don't remember being overweight or anything. Maybe he was puffy.
I mean, it wasn't like he was Ed Ogeron, but or Andy Reid, but yeah, he wasn't this svelte guy that he is right now. Wishy-washy act. I mean, here you don't have to BS the public to the point where his contract figures, accurate or not, but some kind of ballpark. Do you believe that when these figures are reported, they're at least in the ballpark, Libby? When you see that so-and-so signed a 7-year contract for $90 million, is your feeling that these figures are way off? Maybe generated by some agent, but you would have to think that they're somewhat in the parameters of what the actual contract is, no?
Well, no, for a coach, they are. I mean, again, it's the NFL with players, but for a coach that's guaranteed money, yes, those are real numbers, 100%.
All right, so it's in every newspaper, it's in every online article, it's being talked about on every broadcast, every podcast. Anybody that has a microphone is broadcasting the figures of Lane Kiffin's contract. And he literally gets up at the press conference and claims he has no idea what the contract figures are. It's like, Lane, I mean, who are you kidding there?
Yeah.
How can you possibly have no idea? Your wife's already calling you and said, we got $90 million coming. You did it. You did it. You were at FAU for $500,000 just a few years ago. Unbelievable. And he's the only guy that really made that work, right? Charlie, unfortunately, our good friend Charlie Partridge had 3 and 9 years, ended up becoming an assistant coach at Pittsburgh under Narduzzi. That worked out real well for him. And now, who's he with? What was the number one team there for a little while in the National Football League, doing a great job as a defensive line coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Who else took that? Your guy from
Taggart was horrendous and got fired in 2 years.
Fired him, and where's he today? Is he involved?
He's a running back coach, I think, with the Ravens. He always had a connection with the Harbaughs. Okay. So I think he's a running back coach with the Ravens.
All right, so he didn't exactly prosper. Our man Tom Herman, what happened to him? Did he get out of football? Out of football altogether? I mean, a very competent guy, a Mensa guy who had success, a variety of different places, wasn't even all that bad at Texas. But you couldn't satisfy the overzealous alumni who were pumping all this money into the program. So he ended up getting shorted the chance to prove that he could do the job there. I don't know. Had he proven that he couldn't do the job there, Louie? Tom Herman, what do you think?
He wasn't consistent. I mean, look, Sark has, recruiting-wise, been a little bit better and gotten them at least – look, there wasn't a 12-team playoff, but Sark has gotten them into the top 10 every year. They weren't exactly doing that under Herman, but it was only like 2-3 years. He would tell you felt if he had more time, he would have gotten the job done. My problem with Sark is he's on the opposite. He's gotten them there and then can't close the deal. And now there's another team that is really good that has 3 losses. So maybe Herman wasn't so bad is sort of the thing, because the records, he's better than Herman was, but not by that much. In the end, they're not winning the conference and they're not winning championships.
So what's a big beef with Kiffin as opposed to any of these other coaches that have made changes, right?
I don't know, because he talks. Like, he's one that actually will talk crap when he's there and then talk crap when he leaves, where the other guys try to play nice and play the game.
Is John Summerall taking any crap? I mean, he's leaving Tulane. He's already signed. I don't know what their disposition is. I would imagine it's the same, because you would think that you don't want a lame duck coach coaching your team, especially a guy. Now, in this case,
see, he supposedly is
going
coaching
from Tulane to Florida. I mean, it's not like you're stepping across the street to take the job with one of your rivals.
I think he's coach. I think they are allowing him to coach the team.
Okay, that would make some sense.
And that's what I would have done with Kiffin. Again, Kiffin, I guess, because he dragged it out, pissed off Ole Miss. And if I'm Kiffin, I'd rather start my new job, because you're going to be at a negative. But I guess LSU hasn't lost any of their commits. And if the LSU players know Kiffin's coming, I guess they're okay. So the classes stay intact. You should have just let him coach it. Like, again, he didn't earn it. I get does earn it with this leaving stuff.
Might only be one more game.
It's his team.
Yeah.
He got him there. They are a very interesting team. The playoffs outside of Ohio State are not scary. So you never know. I mean, like, they could make a nice little run. Doing this just makes it a big, and now they may remove from the playoffs. So to me, if I was Ole Miss, I would have just played nice just to get through it, because
what ball game do they play in? What meaningless ball game do they play in if they're not in the playoffs?
I don't know.
At 11-1. That would be a travesty.
Yeah, look, I again, being a Florida State fan, don't wish upon anyone what happened to my program. But I don't know. It's weird because Kiffin's gone.
Yeah, giant hose job.
The OC is gone. There's like 3 or 4 coaches that are gone. That wouldn't be.
Are these other guys totally incompetent? I mean, they have the players still.
Again, the guy that's going to be your coach going forward is already on the staff, the DC, so he can actually.
Right.
Whereas he could be the interim guy that actually knows what he's doing.
I think that's why they did that.
Maybe give him a head start.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, it shows that okay, so the head coach is gone. What are we going to do about that? But that hasn't really changed the dynamic of what we're doing. Penn State is going after the BYU coach, Kalane Sitake. Is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
Kalane Sitake. There's no public outcry about that, is there? I mean, Sitake's got BYU in one of the conference championship games.
Well, they should be in the playoffs. I mean, BYU is a team that they keep doing this Miami Notre Dame debate. I think BYU has a much better resume than either of those 2 teams, and they sort of are on the outside looking in unless they beat Texas Tech, which I don't get. They're a 1-loss team. They'll be in the conference championship, so their second loss would be to a top 5 team in the conference championship, something Notre Dame and Miami can't lay claim to. I don't know. Where this debate goes, I think they're missing out the BYU factor. And I get it. The Big 12 isn't great. Fine. But neither is the ACC. And they'll get their one team in. I think Texas Tech and BYU and Utah have been good all year. So I think
how does Virginia clobber Duke in this game? They're only 3.5-point favorites. Duke was lousy at the end of the year. I think they went 3-3 their last 6 games and were atrocious in certain aspects. Manny Diaz, give him credit. He did a very credible job so far at Duke as compared to the way he was perceived at Miami, where maybe anticipation was so far out of bounds that nobody could succeed there. I mean, did Mario really, as bad as he is as a game day coach, did he do a bad job here? Should he be proclaimed as an asset for going 10-2, or are we still pissed that he lost to both Louisville and SMU?
I mean, I
appear to be superior talent, because I think, I don't know about Virginia. I didn't see enough of them. I think that UM would hammer Duke. No?
I think UM would be both of these teams. I think Virginia would give them some problems because they can pass the ball around. And Miami's secondary's suspect, but I think Miami would win. I think Miami right now is playing the best ball of anyone in the ACC. I'm not fighting that. They just lost the 2 games, and that happened, and you can't just ignore that. And it happens every year. I think Cristobal. It's clearly a good hire. I think Cristobal has turned the program around. I think they are relevant in a way.
We thought Mark Richt was going to do that, remember?
Yeah, Rick did it for a half a year, and then he just couldn't finish it off. Cristobal, for all of his issues, at least they do get to the 10 wins. And that's the first time they're back-to-back 10 wins since early 2000s. So,
have you seen Rick as a commentator on the ACC network?
Oh, doesn't he have MS? He has something, so I feel
Oh,
bad.
he does? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
he
know
has like an MS or he has some.
because it just seems like he's out there. I don't
Yes,
know.
he's
It's
like out of it.
very very unusual for a television commentator to have the same approach. I know he was kind of low key, but okay, so there's some other factor at work there. It's not just
Yeah,
that.
I think it's. I mean, I'll look it up, but like
I'm glad you spared me from looking
yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
I didn't want you to go down that without knowing the reality.
No,
I
I mean, look, he seems like a decent guy. It's just as a
he's
commentator on one of these pregame shows where everybody's inclined to do a lot of Kevin Harlan like screaming to emphasize their point. I don't know if you yell and scream. I was listening to some talk radio last night, driving home from the Alzheimer's Cup tennis match with Dr. Jerry,
oh, he
and
has Parkinson's. Oh, he has
oh, he
Parkinson's,
does. Okay, all right,
and since 2021, so now
that could
that's 4
affect his
years
speech.
of Parkinson's. Yep,
All right,
yep.
all right. Scratch the conversation about Mark Rippon.
I just want to be honest.
Nice that he's up there and that he's stuck with him. Lubie, you can't win.
So anyway, so
You
I
can't
look,
win, Rock.
I think
You
Chris
can't win.
Ball is what I don't think he's a good coach. I still think against a good team in a tight game, he will get out coached. He's lucky that the ACC doesn't have really a lot of those teams.
Yeah.
I half me would like to see them in the playoffs because I think they get worked. So I'm curious if they prove me wrong. They proved me wrong in the Pitt game. I'm curious to see them in the playoffs. I just don't think they'll get there. I think the BYU and a fifth SEC team get in before Notre Dame and Miami. I think both of them get left out, and I think that's how you handle that argument for the debate. Like last year, you had or the FSU year, you had to put Bama in with Texas.
Yeah.
Or you could leave them out. And I don't think Notre Dame's resume
You
is.
really see Notre Dame being left out? There's no way.
They're not going to want to, and it'll be.
There has to be a bag full of cash somewhere that gets Notre Dame in.
Their resume is not great.
Follow
Like,
the money.
resume, they don't have one top 15 win. I think they only have one ranked win.
USC was there, and they were
did.
what, outside the top 15?
Yeah, and they're now. I don't think they're ranked at all. Like to me, I don't know. The Notre Dame resume is weird. So I look. I think Miami belongs over Notre Dame. My problem is I don't think Miami belongs either. Like the 2 losses, again, don't stack up against the other teams. And Miami fans, well, look at Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma's beating 4 ranked teams that are still ranked now. Like, and I get Oklahoma doesn't look good. They don't.
You know what? They have themselves to blame. You're right, Libby. Because if they had lost the Notre Dame game and beaten SMU and Louisville, they'd be in the postseason.
Yeah, like again, Radakovich. See, this begging stuff I think is annoying because no one was begging for Florida State. Florida State you didn't have to make a case. Florida State was just in. They were the number 4 team. That was the conversation by double digits. I don't care about training stuff. They're in. They should have needed begging. No one did though. Everyone just was like sat on their hands.
It was even more testament, as we said at the time, that they won that game with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, so what do you mean they did? The next year they did the same thing with Georgia. Georgia had the gunner guy who looked like ass. Like LSU at least did stuff. He looked like ass. Their offense could do nothing, and their defense was nowhere near as dominant as Florida State's defense. And they did not win the way that Florida State won. And they got, well, look what they scored the exact amount of points too, because it was funny. Their screenshots of, whoa, 16 points isn't going to do it in the playoffs next year. Look at Georgia finding a way to get 16 points. It was literally the funny, and it was Herb Street. It was like, we try to tell you guys, like, you're going to do different when it's SEC. So, like,
the bias is insane.
Win your games. Like, again, yes, there's other teams with 2 losses. Yeah, but they're in conferences that are more respected versus teams that are more respected. I don't know what to tell you. Like, don't lose those games, UM. Don't. Every year you're going to lose 2-3 games. Like Radakovich laying out. I think then do it versus BYU because I think BYU's resume blows away Miami's resume. Like, I don't know.
You have to do some campaigning if you're one of these teams in the program.
They're all doing it. That's what's weird to me. Like, and someone said, and they're not wrong. If you have to campaign for a spot, is it a playoff? Like in the NFL, in the NBA, you get in or you don't. Like this campaigning stuff is weird. Like this, it's
like one of those shape-up jobs. You know, when you see this in when I started vending at Shea, it was a shape-up job. They called it, where like a bunch of guys show up and they pick like 10. Sort of like that scene in Cinderella Man. Okay, I need 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then he looks and he sees Braddock there and Russell Crowe and basically says, Didn't you fight at the Garden last night? Okay, you're in too. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made for much of a movie if he didn't get that job that day. What if they just turned him away and the schlep ended up, having no food to put on the table and couldn't fight? All right, we're going to come back with more. We got into some of this stuff. College, the Ohio State Indiana game. We want to get into that. I don't know what you think about that one. You're our college football expert, Lubie.
I think Ohio State blows them away.
No controversy about the James Madison coach. Bob, don't call me Kenny Chesney, going to UCLA. They're not screaming about that. Did these guys just do it with more dignity and class? I don't know. I mean, how can Lane Kiffin be blamed for being the most coveted guy in college coaching when just 6 years ago he was coaching at FAFNU? Nothing against our beloved Owls here on Bleacher Brothers, but it's not exactly like a stepping stone to the LSU job. That's for sure. But it became one. All right, we're coming back with more. The Heat were just raining threes, Lubie, last night. 24 three-pointers in a game. Imagine, I mean, it's hard to even conceive for a guy. I mean, this used to be known as a chucker. We talk about it all the time. Andy knows the term. I'm sure a lot of you older guys do. If you were a chucker, you were despised. And now it's so overly encouraged.
It's the league now.
I mean, if you were shooting even 30% from 30 feet away, people would stop throwing you the ball after a while. They'd look at you, fake a pass to the corner. Hey, listen, musclehead, if you're just going to jack that up.
100%.
And you try and, weave a pass through immense hand traffic and feet, some kind of bounce pass to some big guy under the basket who was going to get blocked anyway, because you would rather have that happen than just throw the ball in the corner for this chucker to go up there and fire away from three. So the fact they're even attempting 24 threes in a game, Lubie, is a little bit startling. That they're making 24 threes is pretty cool. Here's your sports talk topical debate question. And maybe this is something both of us, what we should do is try to be more like the more successful sports shows.
Okay.
Is it a prerequisite of Fox Radio to have two guys on that just start screaming at each other? Because that's what I was listening to last night. I think it was Parker. I forget his first name. Is it Rob Parker? Been around for a long time. And he's on, and they actually have a pretty good flow going on the show, but then they feel compelled to start screaming about something. So here's your screaming issue. We'll give you a second to think about it here on the show. Would you rather have a very efficient and a guy, I don't want to use the chip on his shoulder kind of thing, because I don't really know this guy's mentality, but maybe he felt like he was underutilized when he was playing for the Clippers. And the fact that he shined against the Clippers last night perhaps speaks to that. I don't know. Maybe it was just arbitrary luck that he had 30 points in a blowout of the Clippers.
That was not luck. That was on purpose.
Okay. So, and the Heat are up after 3 quarters in this game, 114-82. They're up, what is that, 32 points? My God. They end up winning the game by 17, but they were outscored in the fourth quarter by like a ridiculous margin. So the game was well out of hand. But would you rather have a sort of committed and dedicated, motivated Norman Powell on your team? Is this too easy to even offer up there?
Versus Butler? Is that what you're going to
malcontent? There you go. See, I knew you knew your sport.
They're going to be like a star that's sort of annoying. Then it would be a debate. But the Butler, you mean that carried us, or the Butler of last year?
The Butler of last year.
The Butler now. He's already doing it with the Warriors.
He's complaining. He's crying. I didn't see any of that.
Oh, you haven't seen? Yeah, it's like a big deal. He's like he's like, we need to do this. We need to do that. Or rebounding. He's going down the list. It's like, that was quick.
When is he just going to come flat out and say by his locker one day, look up at the reporters and say, you know what? Steph's an effing chucker. That'd be it. He's a chucker. What was he doing? Shooting from the Coke machine. Absolutely ridiculous. So when you're denouncing Steph Curry, I guess that's when you've reached the full extent of being a malcontent. But, I mean, is that not a clear-cut answer, Lubie? People that thought they were overly attached to the idea that without Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat could never prosper. And was this not addition by subtraction? All right, we'll get into a little of that. I don't know if there's much of a debate there. Actually,
no, not the way he tanked it. They've said, like, they went through the list of all the crazy stuff that he remember. Spo's house got burned down. Yeah, like Hero didn't play pretty much the entire first third of the season.
Like 3 games.
Not half of the first third of the season. They've had all these different guys in and out of the Bams miss games. Like, they've had a lot of things go wrong, and people are like, yeah, it's way better than what they had to deal with last year. Like, it was just Butler being
more entertaining, isn't it? It's and it's more fun to see the postscripts on these games where it's not Jimmy Butler crying about the fact that he hates Spoelstra, largely becoming recognized as one of the great coaches ever to be on the sideline. I mean, is he Red Auerbach, Red Holzman, he's up there with any of the.
He's top 5, top 6. Yes, he's put himself to me in that next group behind Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, and Red Auerbach. He's in that next group with Klotz and with all the rest of the Reds. Yes,
Red Klotz. Now there was a coach, man, that he could. I mean, he got that one win against the Trotters. Probably that was it. That doomed him for life. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. We could have a topical debate if you want, or talk some soccer because Messi's done it, man. He's propelled his team, this Inter Miami CF, into the championship game. Who are they playing? Vancouver? Is that the opponent?
No. When is this?
Are there any other teams in the MLS that we know of besides the one that Messi's in? How easy, how routine is this championship? And is this a championship for like 2 or 3 years at a time? Because it seems like they've been playing this season.
The season's supposed to be from April to October, so maybe that's what it is.
April to October.
And the playoffs are in November. I don't know.
They play like 12 games.
No, they just take a lot of breaks. This tournament and that tournament and this Fakakta thing and that thing.
Yeah, we're playing in Tijuana today. Yeah, great. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that
the time.
It's Maccabi time. 8:44.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
All right, there's some statistical data here. I think we should have a segment of the show called the Stat Sheet. Would that be appropriate, Libby, if we wanted to get into
There you go. Yes.
departmentalizing or tizing the show here? All right, so the Heat, believe it or not, are only 14th in the league on offensive, whatever stats they use to determine they were 14th overall. However, and this surprises me because what's been the big story this year with the Miami Heat? The amount of points they're scoring, 140 again last night. Second in the league on defense. And in a commentary examining what's gone on the first, what would it be? First quarter of the season is already complete, at least. First quarter of the season. Have they played 20 games? Yeah, thereabouts.
Yes.
And they're doing this all without really a point guard other than Mitchell is really their only point guard. And he sort of is evolving, but they're doing a massive distribution. They are second in the league, like I said, in assists, 30.2 per game. which they're passing the ball around like maniacs, sharing the basketball. And a comment about the Miami Heat by this particular analyst was that do they have enough to sustain a playoff run? They may be doing well with what they have right now. I guess that's always a question that you have about teams that somehow are exceeding the anticipated results, especially early in the season. But and that when Tyler Hero, who is now back in the lineup, see, if you get labeled as a lousy defensive player, Lubie, as a basketball player, it's particularly offensive. I mean, if you're a baseball player, you can clearly see it, right? You're booting grounders at shortstop. You're throwing a ball into the stands behind first base. You're always late to cover a bag. You're out of position. Balls that are a matter of routine, you turn them into adventures. And for the occasional good play you make, you're a lousy defensive player. Hero was a lousy defensive player. I don't think anybody would dispute that in the early portion of his career.
100%. I mean, even in the last year, they were hunting.
Did he get better?
They were hunting him last year. So, okay. No, he did not get better.
So he sucks on defense is what you're saying.
I don't know what he's doing this year. They're playing much better team defense. So what that does is cover up for a guy who's not good. Like when you have Ware and Bam at the back end and on Davion Mitchell as a guard, and then also Powell's a really good defender. And Wiggins too. You only have to do so much. Like you can cover up his deficiencies.
We sound like Scoop Skolnick doing a show here.
I mean, it's the truth.
Why do we analyze like analytics here of being 14th on offense? I don't know what stats they combine into that. All right, this used to be a big deal here in South Florida, and we haven't had a chance to talk too much National Hockey League. Shoot the puck. And I'm a big hockey fan, and I'm sad to say that, like many people, I have almost completely ignored the early stages outside of a peripheral glance at the standings and maybe some stats and an occasional glimpses of games. Is that weird, Lubie? How tough it is for I don't think hockey a niche cult sport still? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it got more popular in the 90s, and it sort of fell back in the 2010s to like a niche regional kind of a thing.
A great game. You go to a hockey game and you ask yourself, no matter how much expense you incurred, well, I guess it's become prohibitive now. Certain games, you go to a postseason game with the Panthers. I can't bring myself to the point where I ever want to pay. I know the Sphere in Vegas. Maybe some people have been there. Could weigh in on the chat line here. But everybody says that and look, my days are numbered here. I'm day to day like a lot of people. People are checking out right and left. I don't even have a phone book anymore. Like I said, I just carry a copy of the obituaries.
Oh God!
To check and see if guys that I want to get in touch with are even still alive. I'm wondering about this. I don't want to, cast a premature. I'll have to ask you about this privately, Lubie, on the chat line here and or whatever, our own little line, because I'm not sure if this guy checked out or not. All right, I'll put it up there in a second. But
okay.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a great game when you go, but I can't bring myself to paying like $600 a ticket for something. Would you pay? I think it might be the lowest ticket at the Sphere in Vegas. I believe, I don't know why I want to say that it's $300, Lubie. Now, it's an experience supposedly like no other. Like if you go there once, it's almost like I never was the kind of guy that would do this. I did not ever drop any blood or acid in my life with all the drugs that I've consumed and ingested. That was one that I dodged. So is it like taking an acid trip, Lubie? Are you inclined at all to look into going to the Sphere?
Oh, I want to go to the Sphere bad, but it depends on what to do there. Just to be at the Sphere, I think is like you're saying $200-$300. So to like go see an actual act, I'd like to see. It's like $500-$600. Eventually, I could see paying that because that thing's supposedly nuts. Like Joe Bejo was talking about it. I have other friends that have been, and they said it's not like anything you've ever seen. Like the way that the concert is, it's like full body, like you're just all
it's like you're on a Disney World ride where you're thinking, wait a minute, I know I'm sitting in a chair strapped in here in the dark, and yet I feel like I'm about to be eaten by some giant rodent-sized bird as you're flying around, and you're actually ducking, thinking, I mean, don't you have to remind yourself it's not real? I guess here you want to let go and kind of capitulate to the experience that they're trying to bring about for you. I don't know any Mr. Met, Ira, and his lovely wife Rosalie are huge concert goers. Probably been to a zillion concerts. And Ira, at 90 years old, said that this was the greatest thing that he'd ever witnessed in his lifetime. Of course, he was seeing Bob Weir with his latest configuration of something similar to the Grateful Dead. But yeah, I mean, would you pay that kind of money to go to a thing like that? Much less. Now, would you do it for a hockey game, Lubie, of any magnitude? Stanley Cup Championship Final Game 7, Edmonton Oilers in town, 6 sticks. Would you ante that up? Now, you got to bring Shirley. Do you have to pay for Luca? You probably have to pay for a seat for Luca if you went to a game. All right, so we're talking about $1,200 maybe just for tickets. It's out of my range. That being said, I remember when it was a big deal, and I think this was largely brought about in this area by the late, great Neil Rogers, who was an early tout of the whole idea of thought it was impossible, like everybody else, that South Florida would ever have a hockey NHL franchise. And then beyond that, he was a huge proponent, especially being a Maple Leaf fan. So it was weird because you're listening to AM radio down here in South Florida where nobody gave a flying one about hockey. And this guy with the #1 show was talking about the back line on the power play of the Toronto Maple Leafs and whether or not they should just go and throw 5 forwards out there. And you're like, what? People are calling about something completely distant from what it was that he was talking about. But it was a big deal. Now, Lubie, are you aroused by any level of excitement that the Toronto Maple Leafs are in town to take on the Florida Panthers? Both teams right around the same category, sort of near the bottom of their conference. With like 500 records, something in that neighborhood. Nothing?
No, I mean, they're both fun teams. They both have fallen on hard times. I'm presuming that's an injury thing. I mean, with the Panthers, again, we knew it was going to be tough sledding, and they sort of hung around early. I didn't realize they're like the bottom of the conference now.
But everybody's got like a 500 or above record. They're sitting there at or near the bottom. I mean, there are a few teams off the bottom. Toronto is behind them at 11, 11, and 3. And the Panthers are in at 12, 11, and 1. Colorado, by the way, I didn't even see. This is how little attention I'm paying. They're 18 and 1 with 6 overtime losses.
They have 18 and 1. They have
18 and 1. 1 loss, 1 actual loss, 6 overtime losses. So they had a point in those games that used to be deemed ties. And now the winning team obviously gets an extra point. So it would be a factor in the standings. However, and there are only 2 other teams that have more OT losses than Colorado, which is kind of odd since they have the best record in the league. And that would be St. Louis and Vegas. And Vegas, don't you always figure, I don't know, is Marchessault still in the league? The guy that we gave up for nothing in the expansion draft? What was Dale Talent smoking in that office while he was sitting there going, Riley Smith, he can play. Why don't we let him go too?
Exactly.
Come on, Dale. A long, glorious Hall of Fame career. And this other guy comes in there and chop. Can that possibly happen with the Miami Dolphins where they bring in a guy? Who are they? Is there anyone in the discussion of who's going to be the new general manager of the Miami Dolphins? Is Stephen Ross thinking about anybody? This guy's head has to be in La La Land. No. Hey, Garfunkel, we got a GM yet? No. Yeah, are we talking to anybody? Nah, we'll get around to it next week. Okay, sounds good. No when do you ever hear no speculation about that among, especially here, local?
Well, especially since teams are starting to like. Well, I mean, I guess it's still in season, but I don't know. I never know what the Dolphins. I don't know what
names haven't hatched out of nowhere. I mean, where are the local reporters on this thing? Where's Dave Hyde when you really need him? All right, so where did you weigh in on a couple of things before we get out of here, Louis? I know you got things going on here, but all right. So Ohio State and Indiana, is that a game of any?
I think they work them. I think Ohio State works them. Yeah, I think Indiana's sort of made of their own design where they don't play anyone out of conference. And the side of the conference they're on is just Penn State, so they miss Ohio State and Michigan a lot. They did have to play Oregon, but the rest of their schedule is nothing. So I think Ohio State will. I think Ohio State's going to do work.
All right, they cover a lot of spreads, man. 5 and a hook. Georgia, Alabama. Is it possible that Georgia wins the national championship, even though they haven't been sort of the juggernaut. It's not like they're stomping teams into the dirt like they usually do.
No.
But they're winning, and they did beat Alabama previously. So and that game essentially is a home game for the Bulldogs playing in Atlanta. No, so yeah, what do you think, Georgia and Alabama? Where are you going there?
I think Georgia wins that. I don't know if they win the championship. Their defense is not what it was, and Stockton, he's not as horrible as he was last year, but their offense is very inconsistent. The run game, it's weird, but for Georgia, they don't have the run game they usually have. So I don't know. I think Georgia wins that game, but I don't know how far they get. I'm curious to see them against some of these other teams.
All right. A very motivated Norman Powell or a total malcontent that is as divisive as any player could be without actually throwing punches, Jimmy Butler.
I mean, you're seeing it's a very similar team, and they're a lot better. Like Powell by a lot. It's not only he's a better player on the court, but off the court, he supposedly is ingratiating himself right into the Heat culture stuff where like he's supposedly going to be a free agent, but that's not going to ever come to fruition because the Heat are going to be smart enough to just lock him up. Like the guy fits in really well here, and you're seeing it. I mean, the way that they're playing is impressive, and they're just figuring it out still.
All right. A couple of TV notes from my viewing and just channel surfing. I've happened upon this show a few times. I don't know if you've ever watched it on MLB Network, Lubie, with Bob Costas and Tom Verducci hosting baseball's 20 greatest games. Have you ever seen those?
No,
and they usually have a couple of the key participants from the winning team in the various games that they analyze, and they bring out so much stuff. It's incredible. So last night I stopped on it because the football game was a blowout going the wrong way for me. I had the Giants getting 7 points, which was already up in smoke like very early on. And I'm watching this. They had Lou Piniella and Bucky Dent talking about the playoff, the one-game playoff, where, of course, it was the F and Bucky Dent game. And it was great. I mean, they bring in all these old radio clips. I've seen the show before with different people on it. Costas, say what you want about him. I think the guy's brilliant when it comes to talking about baseball. He may have lost his. You think he lost it, or we just couldn't do play-by-play anymore? How is that possible?
Oh, he chose to stop. No, Bob Costas.
He was making some mistakes though that were uncharacteristic.
Oh, maybe I don't know, but he's older, and he chose. I guess he chose to move and do like a game here and there with MLB Network, but not do anything consistently.
Yeah. I think he dropped the MLB Network stuff because he was doing the kind of thing where you would hear him screaming, "Ah, there it is, a line drive, right? Oh, caught by the second baseman." I mean, turned out to be a blooping piece of crap. You're like, what are you looking at, Bob? That's bad when you're totally misidentifying what's going on out there. We have that. Unfortunately, it's a condition that persists here locally, but on certain broadcasts, where you have no idea what's going on. But that's a great show if you're a baseball fan. I mean, it's well done too, and I can't believe they have these guys. I believe they conduct it over like 2 hours, almost the length of the actual game itself from back in the day when it didn't take forever to play a ball game because they only used like one pitcher. I think wasn't Mike Torres still in the game in the ninth inning to give up that Dent homer? Pretty sure that was the case, right? So he was their starter. Ron Guidry, Louisiana Lightning. Piniella was really interesting on the show. Did you think of Lou Piniella? Like, did you remember any perception you have of Lou Piniella? Didn't he look like kind of a meathead?
Well, I thought he was a grump. He was always yelling. That was his thing. He had the best getting thrown out events ever.
Yeah. He was great on this show, and of course we know that Bucky Dent is extremely articulate and a good friend of Tony Segretto's. And there was great analysis. It was good stuff. And then I guess I have to make a confession here as we close things out. So I'm channel surfing the other night, and I don't know why I thought I was going to find a basketball game on TBS. Are you still doing that, Lubie, thinking they still have the contract?
No, I've just learned. I've accepted that it's ESPN, NBC, Peacock, and Amazon.
Yeah, and you're getting like old shows with Buddy Ebsen in them. I mean, Matlock replays. I think, why am I on this channel? So briefly, I see professional wrestling, and you know my commitment in terms of always wanting to applaud and give proper homage to the guys who are the foundational people in this so-called sport or industry. And my favorites would be, of course, a female wrestler, Fabulous Moolah, uh, overall wrestler, Bruno Sammartino. And what? Do we have to throw midget wrestler in there? That would have to be, would it be Sky Lolo? What do you think? I don't know. And we were always saying that was real wrestling back then. That what they do now is just a bunch of crap. But I'm watching AEW wrestling, Lubie. Not even the top circuit, not even the WWE. And I have to say, man, that these guys, to deny that they were athletes would be a serious mistake.
And they're athletic. It's just
God.
it's fake. So it's
some of the stuff they were doing are like 100 of these flips off the top rope. And of course, you have to go outside the ring now and bang the guy with the fence that's separating the crowd from actually having access to the ring. But I have to say, I was mesmerized by it for a little while, and then I realized these new gummies were absolutely great. But yeah, I mean, watching some AEW wrestling, I have to tip my hat to the modern day wrestler. I've vastly underestimated. I mean, it's not like they're ever going to make me forget Antonino Rocca or the Flying Frenchman Eduardo Carpentier, but they do some acrobatic crap, I have to say. All right, and a perfect note to end on, a meaningless note on an otherwise. I mean, I don't know. Where are we going with this stuff, Lubie? Did we not talk enough soccer for to satisfy people? And did we ever figure out who they're playing and when for the championship? This is a big Bleacher Brothers thing. AJ Johnson has become immersed in the game of. Is it a sport or a game? Soccer. We'll call it a sport. It does take athleticism.
I think it's a sport. I don't know why people.
You'd be winded as crap. I mean, anything with that much running, you would have to say is a sport. All right, and it looks like Inter Miami's just a dominant force. How long is that going to be? And Messi, will he play?
Inter Miami MLS Cup final Saturday, December 6th, 2:30 p.m. Inter Miami versus Vancouver.
There you go. I was right about that.
You nailed it.
Who says we don't follow this stuff?
I don't follow this stuff. I say it.
Like trounced the New York. What is it? It's like the New York City FC, NYC FC.
Yes, their FC. The Miami did it backwards in his CF.
Why did they do that? Is that some kind of Latin
I have no idea. Club of football instead of football club. I don't
like if they were Hebrew. I mean, are they honoring Israel by printing?
It's what Spanish a lot of the time will be. The English goes backwards into Spanish. I mean, it happens.
Doesn't make any sense.
With that though,
they're Inter Miami Football Club.
Yes, even overseas, that's what they are. Yes,
not football.
How
stupid is that, man?
I don't follow it at all. I had to get it pop on my phone for me to know. Oh, good for them.
I'm glad Messi frequents wicked cheesesteaks. That makes me.
I think it's classic.
Applaud him all the more. Yeah. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for being with us. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, young Luca Panici Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you tomorrow. Tony will join us for a little old school. Ed Garcia has to be fired up. His Michigan basketball team is doing it. And what's Michigan? They're waiting to see if they're in. They're not getting into the postseason, are they?
No, they just lost to Ohio State. I think their third loss. So they're
okay. They're finished.
They'll be in a bowl. I mean, they'll be in a decent bowl, I would think.
Rose Bowl? Can they get there? All right. We'll see you next time as we leave it on that.
The time.
Thank you, Johnny. It's 9:06.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.